If your husband has stonewalled you, the hardest part isn't the silence. It's actually what happens after. You're left feeling shaky, guarded, unsure of what's safe to say next. And if you've been telling yourself, I just need to calm down or communicate better, I want you to know that's not the problem. What you're actually missing is emotional safety in your relationship. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what women need to rebuild it after stonewalling. When I'm talking about having emotional safety with your husband, I'm not talking about something abstract or fluffy. I'm talking about real things that your nervous system needs after stonewalling to feel safe and grounded again. And I'll be very honest with you. You can't rebuild safety just by yourself because you're only half of the equation. The other half is the relational environment you're trying to feel safe in. And who's the other person who's responsible for that relational environment? Your partner. This is because it's your partner who can often make you feel safe by the way they choose to respond to you. So emotional safety is always co-created by both partners. But what you can do on your part is to become aware of your relational needs in the relationship, being able to express them clearly and create ways for safety to come back to your relationship. So I'm going to tell you exactly what that looks like. Feeling safe again is not about creating perfection. It's about feeling like the relationship is stable enough to hold your emotions. So what you can do is to gently communicate that need without blame. Here's how to say it. I want us to feel at peace and grounded even when we're talking about hard things. I don't need you to fix anything. Just stay in it with me. This way you're being gentle, soft, and vulnerable. At the same time, you're setting a boundary and a criteria that if you are to have even difficult conversations, you want the conversation to be a two-way street, respectful, calm, and grounded. And on his side, he needs to show you steadiness. I want to emphasize this is not all on you. You do your part, but he also needs to do his part. So what would steadiness on his part look like? I hear you. I listen to you. I know for the last little while, whenever there are these tough conversations, I tend to shut down and that makes you feel ignored. But I'm here with you. I'm here and we're going to be okay. And this creates safety because you're getting this agreement from him that from now on, in tough conversations, please stay present with me. And kind of saying, I require you or need you to increase your emotional capacity, your distress tolerance to be able to have these conversations with me in a calm manner. You're not asking for the world. You're just asking for a little bit of more presence. So this is a practical example you can start using right away. Before you start a vulnerable conversation with him, say, this is hard for me to say, and I just need you with me while I share it. If he starts with reactivity, just take a slow breath, take a step back emotionally, and say to him, I'm noticing you're getting tense again. I don't want to go into a cycle of me sharing something and you shutting down. I want you to try and stay open to what I'm sharing with you. My intention is to feel safe and closer. This is how we will both win at this and protect our relationship. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, this is exactly the pattern that keeps happening in my relationship, and I don't actually know how to create this kind of safety on my own with my husband, then you need to join my Relationship Reset coaching program. This program specifically helps couples who are stuck in a pattern of arguments and conflict, who are feeling a little bit emotionally distant recently. It helps these couples to break that conflict cycle, repair quicker after each fight, and rebuild that closeness without walking on eggshells. I'll tell you more about the program at the end of the video. The second thing is, in order for you to feel emotionally safe, you need to know that he won't shut down or attack you. Stonewalling is a defense mechanism. Of course, this doesn't make stonewalling an okay and valid behavior. This behavior is very harmful. But what you can do on your side to get that emotional safety back is to actually name the emotional impact of stonewalling. Here's how you can say it. When you shut down, I feel very scared and abandoned emotionally. Even if you tell me I need 10 minutes, I'll come back after 10 minutes for us to continue the conversation. That helps me feel safe and connected. So basically, you're owning that feeling, you're naming it, so kind of self-validating that emotion for yourself. So sort of self-validating the need for care and love from him, but you're doing it in a vulnerable way without blaming and criticizing him for the stonewalling that's happened. And then you start collecting data. So here you have named how this affects you. You've named what you need from him to feel safe. And let's say you try that. That's data, right? You're putting a boundary, and then you're going to see how he responds to that. Because the responsibility, again, half of it is on him. You've named the feeling, you've named the need. Now you just need to wait and see what he does with that. The next time you're in a fight or a heavy conversation and you notice him shutting down, instead of just shutting down and leaving the conversation, does he tell you, I know I've promised you to say how much time I need to come out of the overwhelm. I'm going to tell you I need an hour, and in an hour I'm going to come back and talk to you. Does he honor his promise, or does he not do that? When you share with him what you need from him to feel emotionally safe, does he actually accept it in that moment, or he start defending himself, or he feels like this is too much? Like, why do I need to do this for you? What's his emotional reaction to you in that moment? Because eventually you need to see him follow through with these safety rules. If he doesn't, it's on him and he's not doing his part. The other way you can say this to him is tell him, if you feel overwhelmed, just give me a quick signal instead of going quiet. I know it can feel small, but that makes me not panic. Now, if he starts shutting down again and making you feel ignored, instead of escalating and getting critical and angry, stay grounded and gently say, it seems like this is getting to be too much for your nervous system. Can you tell me if you need some time or a few minutes? When he comes back, you can acknowledge what he did. And even if you feel it in your heart, you can thank him for that. Because it can be hard to change these patterns. You can tell him, I really appreciate, even though it's hard for you, you came back and you finished the conversation. And this makes him more motivated to do this again for you, because he can actually see the positive impact of this, because he doesn't want to be fighting with you. When he's emotionally shut down, he's also in emotional pain. So it doesn't serve neither of you to be in that state. The other thing you need to feel safe is predictability in the relationship. Although predictability to some can feel boring, but it's actually the thing that brings stability and calmness and safety in a relationship. It's actually how your nervous system restores itself. So how can you bring more predictability to your relationship? One way is to have weekly or daily check-ins with each other. This is a time that both of you can talk about issues that have come up for you, feelings of hurt, or any negative feelings that have come up that you feel like it's hard to address during a busy week. So you both know you'll be able to reconnect, feel heard and understood no matter what. Saving this time to reconnect, checking with each other, maybe sharing one thing that hasn't worked for the other person brings predictability and safety, because on one end, if something happens, you're like, we're not going to avoid it. We're going to talk about it. So I'm okay to regulate myself now during the week, because I know we'll be talking about it and try to address it on Friday at this time. Also, this gives your partner who has a tendency to feel shut down and avoid hard conversations, kind of help him mentally prepare for that conversation. And he's less likely to be reactive or shut down. The other way you can add predictability is coming up with rituals for connection, such as agreeing to kiss each other good morning, or greet each other when the other person enters the door, having daily activities like this is something loving that we're gonna do for ourselves. Go for a weekly walk on Sunday mornings and share with the other person what they're doing that makes us appreciate them. So you're just adding more to your emotional savings bank, and this way you're actually building resilience in your relationship, so that way if there's a moment of tension, it's easier for both of you to bounce back from it. The other point is to have more emotional safety in the relationship, you need to learn how to repair after conflict. Some couples know how to repair emotionally. Other couples just wound each other and leave those emotional wounds open. You can help set the tone in your relationship like this. I don't want us just to move on after a fight. We need to revisit the fight, circle back to what happened, learn from our mistakes in the way that we argued, in order to actually feel more connected to each other, because we feel like we've understood each other better now. And his role in this conversation is to actually take responsibility for his part, to check in and tell you, hey, earlier what I said there or did there wasn't my best. How are you feeling? This is how couples rebuild trust, brick by brick, because they're both accountable. They both show responsibility and care. The other thing you need to feel safe with him is to actually feel like your emotions will not be dismissed again if you bring them up. This doesn't mean you expect him to agree with everything you say. You just want to know that your inner world matters to him, that you matter to him, and that he sees you. You can say, I don't need you to solve anything or agree to anything. I just want you to understand me or understand why what you said or did landed this way for me. This actually lowers his defensiveness and invites him to connect. And then his job is to validate. Because you're giving him a perfect opportunity. You're sharing your feelings with him without blaming and criticizing him. So he should be able to validate your feelings at this point if he truly cares about the relationship. Even something as simple as, I get why you would feel that way. This is a very validating sentence and it makes you feel heard, understood, and soothed. These are the type of conversations that need to take place in your relationship for you to start to feel safe again. Once he validates you, maybe you can acknowledge that and show some appreciation for what he's doing differently and the changes he's making. You can say something like, thank you for listening to me. That made me feel very heard and valued, and it made me feel closer to you. If he dismisses you, I hope that doesn't happen, but if he does, again, it's not going to be the end of the world. You can just say something like this. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not criticizing you. My intention is not to criticize you. I'm just sharing my feelings with you. I'm just sharing how that felt for me. While I'm saying all of this to you though, I want to say you can be the perfect communicator and express your needs. You can open your heart, you can reach out, but you can't build emotional safety alone. It really takes both of you choosing the relationship to rebuild that safety. It takes both of you learning new patterns of communicating and reconnecting. Your job isn't really to fix him, it's to stay connected to your needs. Bring them up in a gentle way and notice how he responds. Despite your best efforts, if stonewalling still keeps happening in your relationship, if you're noticing recently you've been arguing more and we've been unable to resolve these arguments, and if after each argument you're left feeling anxious, disconnected, and emotionally unsafe, then you need to join my relationship reset program. In this program, I'll work with you individually or with you as a couple to help you break the cycle of conflict and arguments in your relationship and repair faster. So by the end of the program, you will actually know how to tackle conflict and resolve conflict on your own in a way that's not going to push you apart. Opposite to that, it's actually going to bring you closer. Here's what some of the women whom I've worked with tell me about their experience. One client told me, I finally stopped feeling like I'm doing everything on my own and feeling so alone in my relationship. Another couple told me, after working with you, of course we're not perfect. There are still arguments, but we know how to come back to each other faster and not stay disconnected. Another couple told me the tension between us actually feels lighter and we've been feeling closer to one another over the last few weeks. So these are the changes you can expect after joining this program. This program is for 3 months right now because it's in beta. This is the lowest price I'll ever offer it at. You can go to parisacounselling.com/forward-relationship coaching, or you can apply to the program from the link right under this video. I'll respond to you within 24 hours to let you know if this is a fit.